He never worked. So I had to work to make sure that my children survived. That was the only way. I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd be in work by 6, come home at 8 o'clock, get the kids breakfast, get them all to school, and I'd get in at 11 o'clock, go down the pub. I'd get my daughter from nursery, then I'd get his dinner cooked. I went round to get my other little boy from school then, after being in work by 4 o'clock, back home at 6, feed the kids, and then try and get them to bed. He wouldn't come home till 11 o'clock. I couldn't go to bed because he wasn't in to eat. I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. We just kept on going on and on and on all the time. I think I realised early on in the relationship that he was quite a bully, you know, and it really did start from quite early. I think I was quite afraid of being alone, you know. So I really wanted somebody there, and I didn't think that there was a chance for me to have anybody else besides him. First of all, it started to slap, and then it got to being a kick, you know, or a thump. And at the time, he slammed my shoulder in the door, and I ended up with a broken shoulder, you know. But I didn't think ever anything on my face. He wouldn't very, very rarely mark my face, because I think everybody would see what he'd done then. I tried to hide it all of the time because I was ashamed. You know, he pumped it into me that it was my fault that he hit me, you know, and I deserved it, and, you know, it keeps me in my place and everything. But I thought, well, he must be right. I must be asking for it. It must be me. I mean, he used to come up with his fist at me, and I'd flinch, you know, as a natural reaction. And he'd hit me then and say, because you flinched, I hit you. You made me do it. You imagine sleeping with somebody who's just so violent to you, somebody you really are afraid of, who repulses you, you know, and you can't say no. You can't say no because you're going to get hit even worse, you know. And I mean, I just lay there crying a lot of times, but not being able to show that I was crying, because I would just end up worse off, you know. So every time I slept with him, it felt like I was being raped, you know. It's just really, really awful, that part was. I used to dread that. I've been pregnant 11 times. I've got 4 children that are living. The rest I've miscarried. As I told you earlier, the one baby I lost at 6 weeks old. And I've had to have abortions as well. I know I'm a responsible adult as well. But I couldn't even go to the clinic. He wouldn't have the other children for me to go to the clinic to get some contraception or anything, you know. And when I was pregnant, it was, oh, you'll have to sort it out. You know, you go and sort it out. And so I was faced with an abortion on my own, which I really didn't want. But he threatened me, if you have another one, I'm going to leave you. You know, I'm not helping you at all. And to be honest, I was so tired and just so worn out with everything, of looking after these children all on my own, without any help from him. I'm working, you know, so I just couldn't cope with it, so I had to have an abortion. I never ever retaliated because I was always too frightened, you know. I knew that I'd probably end up worse if I retaliated. But this time, there was just a sweeping brush, so I went to hit him. He grabbed it and just started hitting me about the body with it. And I looked at my son then, who was then almost 9, and I said to him, oh, please help me, help me. I just felt so low. I can't really describe how I felt when your children depend on you so much, and there was I asking a 9-year-old for help. So my husband went to bed and said, if you don't get me money by the time I get up, you're dead, you know. So I had these tablets off the doctor, and I thought, you know, he's made me feel that I'm no good as a mother, no good as a person. You know, these kids are really going to be better off without me. They don't need a mother who's going to beg them to help her when she's in a bit of bother, you know. So I took all my tablets and I took the kids and went up to my sister-in-law and asked her if she'd look after them. But she'd called an ambulance, so I ended up in Cardiff Royal Infirmary and had a stomach pump. And then every time there was an argument, it it was always thrown up in my face that you don't think anything of your kids anyway because you tried to kill yourself, you know. So it's just continuously being put down and just made to feel absolutely worthless. The day before New Year's Eve, he grabbed hold of me and he put his hands around my neck as to strangle me and pushed me over the banisters, and he was holding my neck like that, like he was going to throw me down the stairs. The boys ran out to the bedroom screaming then and said, "Oh, don't hurt Mummy, please don't hurt Mummy." And he said, "That's right, you're all thick together." He said, "Nobody cares about me." And he went into the box bedroom and locked himself in. And he made all these weird noises and started shouting, "That's it, I've killed myself now, you know. That's it, you've got rid of me, that's what you've wanted right from the beginning." The kids were screaming now, they were absolutely petrified. I mean, they loved this man, and as far as we all felt, he'd killed himself. So I tried to break down the door, and I couldn't get in. So I ran round to a neighbour and said, "For Christ's sake, you know, come and help me." And the neighbour started to come round, and he came down the stairs. He said, "Oh, what's the matter? And what's all the fuss?" You know, I just couldn't believe it. He made me look stupid again. You know, he really showed me up. The neighbour went home, and I took the kids in the room and made them tea and pushed them up and said, "Look, I promise you we will leave. I can't leave today because I haven't got any money, but I get my wages from work on Friday, and I promise you that we will leave then." It's New Year's Eve now. And he come down at 7 o'clock and he said, "Oh, right, you ready to go out?" And I said, "No, I'm not going out, you know." And he said, "You are, you're coming out with me tonight." And I don't know what really happened, but I just really thought that moment, you kill me now and I'm out of this. You know, I've got the peace that I really want. So I just really, very calm, said, "Oh, Mum, I'm not coming out with you. I really don't want to come out with you." You know, and that was the first time I hadn't been scared. I think I was just waiting for this, you know, the relief. So he just looked at me and said, "If you're not out by 9 o'clock, then you're dead when I come home."
No, I must. I'm only safe if I have your trust. A woman's place is to be there to please. Why do you always beat me to my knees? Crying inside, do I dare believe? Crying inside, that you won't grieve? Crying inside, that you've ignored? Sometimes I wonder what I'm living for.
And I rang the Samaritans, who put me in bed and breakfast for the night. And then I had this phone call to say that 2 workers from the refuge were picking you up at 5 o'clock and taking you to the refuge. I just cried and said, "Look, all I want is to be happy. You know, I don't want to live in fear. You know, I just want to get out and make a life." The workers built my confidence up, said, "You can do this and you're not facing it alone." And then you've got other women who've been through exactly the same experiences that you all talk about, and it is the best therapy, you know, to sit and talk with other people. I stayed with my husband for 13 years, and most of those 13 years were violent, and the reason I put up with it was for so long was because I didn't know, you know, I was completely unaware that there was a place of safety for myself and my children. But once I knew that there was somewhere to go, then that was all I needed, you know, that was enough. I am now working for Women's Aid. There are 33 Women's Aid groups in Wales. 31, I believe, have refuges. Some of the bigger towns do have 2, maybe even 3 refuges. We try to keep the location of the refuge a secret so that the wives are not in any danger of being found by the partners. Hello? Who's it, Karen? How did you get this number? I'm sorry, you know that nobody's supposed to have this number. I'm sorry. sorry, you can't talk to anybody. And, you know, it's going to cost us £40 now to change the number.
A woman in three. Judy, have we got space for a woman in three?
Yeah, but she's going to have to share.
She's going to have to
Yeah,
share.
18 months old.
The fact that she realises that she's waiting for keys to her own home, that she can let in who she wants and keep out who she doesn't want, is extremely important. Because I think if she can see that light at the end of the tunnel, that she is going to have a home of her own where she can be safe, then it's worth waiting, and she'll stand and she'll fight. Whatever a woman's circumstances, whatever the tenancy that she's living in, whether it's sole tenancy, by her partner, whether it's joint, there are avenues in the law for her, and she can be safeguarded. She will not lose everything. As a matter of fact, she can gain everything by making a fresh start.
Well, I don't believe that inner city is the only place violence occurs. It does happen in the country as well. People think that it's just the sort of lower classes that undergo violence, but it isn't. There's tax inspectors, there's doctors' wives. You can't sort of pinpoint that it's happening more in sort of this sort of society or that sort of society. You know, it goes throughout. People, as a rule, don't understand that violence comes later on in a marriage. They feel that the woman must know, there must be an indication that this man is going to be violent. My second husband had a temper, yes, but I didn't know that he could go to physical violence. He did kick me in the stomach when I was pregnant, and I was afraid for my baby. And, you know, I wasn't young at that time. I was sort of 33. And, you know, I had to be careful. And, of course, you can't retaliate. People believe, you know, you should retaliate. But when you're pregnant, then you can't. You're just stunned. You cannot move. I had a daughter from my previous marriage, and there were a lot of instances like this, you know, where he would shout abuse, and I wasn't used to that. Never used to being shouted at, or my child would have been treated in this manner.
When I was about 7 years old, I can remember being outside my mother's bedroom. This was in the other house, and the door was closed. And all I could hear was, like, shouting and Mum being thrown across the room. I mean, I knew it was Mum that was being thrown across the room. And I can remember being outside and shouting, Mum, Mum, are you all right? And she'd say, you know, go downstairs and just, you know, leave it. It hurts children, and you never forget it. Life is just horrible, basically. To watch somebody you love being hit and not know why it's happening.
I'd always said that if a man hit me, that was it, that he could never do it again. So I did go to a solicitor, and we'd only been married a very short time. She did write a letter to him, which I showed him at Christmas. We'd been married in the September, and this was the Christmas. And then I thought, well, no, there's a baby coming, and I haven't really given it much chance. So I went back, and I believe this is what a lot of people do. They think, well, I'll give it another try. I may not have tried enough or hard enough. So you eventually go back and try again. And I felt, you know, is there something wrong with me? And of course, you always believe there is until you sort of come out of that relationship.
An injunction is a part of the law which aims to protect a person against violence. In our case, it would be a protection to a woman that has suffered abuse from her partner. cooperation of the police is vital in injunction work. Certainly within our area, the police have become a lot better over the past few years, as in many other areas. But unfortunately, there is still that old myth of it's a domestic, and that's with an injunction or without an injunction. What we try to say to the police, if a man has broken a court order and he has knocked the front door and he shouldn't have, if he has harassed his partner and he shouldn't be harassing, if there is a power of arrest, they must arrest him.
If there's clear evidence of a criminal offence, then the man will be arrested. Or if it's a woman, the same will apply.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yes, you did.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yes, so do you know, I'm going to lock him up. He threw his wife Judy down the stairs, didn't he?
Certainly I've noticed in the 10 years in which I've been dealing with this from a police point of view, that attitudes in society have changed. And in fact, the message that we put out is that the victim can actually receive protection if she, and sometimes he, comes to the police for assistance, that it isn't part of the marriage contract to beat up your wife, and that society at large will not tolerate this kind of thing happening.
He knew I was ringing the police, and he just left, and when they came, he'd already gone.
The unit was designed away from a police station, so that people wouldn't feel threatened by a rigid police attitude that may have existed in the past. We picked up referrals from the uniformed police officer who might have attended a domestic violence incident, interview the victim again, make sure that she or he has all the support that is necessary. And if there has been a prosecution commenced, then we would support and counsel that victim through the court procedure.
If there is any woman watching this, I would like them to know that they're not alone, that they should talk about it, they should make other people aware of it, and that there is always help available. If they ring either emergency social services or find out the number of their local women's aid group or police office, there is somebody there to help them.
Quite a few women can't see themselves without a husband. The ones that are fortunate to think, well, I can live without a man, those are the ones that survive, and they can make a life for themselves.
This way, with just me and Mum and James, we have a happy life, you know? Okay, you know, we all have our arguments. Everybody has an argument now and again, but we know at the end that we love each other and we can go on living a happy life.
I would honestly say that I've been given a new life, that I feel like I've been born again, and that I'm no longer in a shadow or somebody else's shadow, that there is light there all the time, and it's just wonderful to have a future.
Wimbledon 0. Everton 4.